Byron, you guys have been shorthanded a bit on offense. Probably might be the case on Sunday. What do you think the key is to getting by, even when you don't have your best targets out there for Tom?
Well, it's just having good players to be ready to step in and play. I tell you guys all the time, I believe and trust in all the guys that's here. Any guy that I put out there, I got the ultimate belief in. So that's part of it. We know we play the game of football. We've really been underhanded for a while now, really since the Rams game, I believe. We've kind of been shorthanded everywhere. But that's football, right? Everybody is. I believe in the guys that has come in and played and has had to play and step up. They put that work in for these moments to have these opportunities that when they do come in, they can showcase what they can do and be good at what they do. And it's just my job to really put them in position to be at their best.
Byron, obviously, after last year, the success you guys had, the greatest expectations coming into the season, I think fans thought you guys would go 17-0 this year. Now you kind of get almost over the halfway point. Where do you evaluate this team at 6-2? Where are they at from where you might expect them to be?
I believe we're better at this point than we were last year. And I just really leave it at that, really. We're trying to get better every day. So we know we're just going to keep putting our head down, working on it every day, getting better. Obviously, you can't control, what people think outside. We're just trying to win football games. Our goal is to win football games and get better in the process. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to win football games, get better every day, and see what happens.
Usually, the bye is a chance to sort of reset, right? And when you go back and you talk about getting better, as you've had a week off now, and you look at things sort of from the first half, now going to the second half, what are some of the things specifically that you look at this offense and go, here's what we can get better at?
Yeah, the number one thing is just turnovers. I think we can be better there. I think we should be better there, and I just think we'll be better there hopefully we'll be better there from a turnover standpoint, just from a ball security standpoint, I guess I should say. Just a ball security standpoint, I think that's what we can get better at. And I think there's a lot of little things that I don't really want to mention that I think can really help us get better, just sitting there looking at us, self-scouting, knowing the things that we can do well. So I think we're doing a lot of things well, though. I think we're doing a lot of things well. I just think we got a good group that come in every day and try to get better.
How tough is it, going into a bye week when you have a game like the one you did, heartbreaker in New Orleans, where you can't get back out on the field and kind of get that bad taste in your mouth? You got to kind of sit with that loss. How tough is that for you as a coach?
Yeah, well, if you don't make enough plays and you play good football teams, you don't normally win the game. And that's simple. So if that happens, you learn how to deal with it. You're a pro. We understand if we don't play at our best, we can lose football games. So we just try to make sure we're playing at our best more often than not, and give us the opportunity to win the football game. But when you lose or win, it's the 24-hour rule. It's always tough when you lose, but you got to move on and get ready for the next opponent. That Sunday night, flying back, we were working on Washington.
Byron, how up to speed is Rashad if you were to need him?
Well, I joked with him today. He had an ME. I told him he was only here 18 months ago, 2 years ago, but we'll see. We'll see. It's good to have him back, to be honest with you, a guy that understands us, that I know well. Obviously, he played well for us when he was here 2 years ago. So somebody I think can help us if needed. But right now, he's just getting in. He's just getting about accoladed. Tom wasn't here when he was here last. So it's really down to him and Tom trying to figure each other out. Tom do an excellent job of throwing and getting reps with everyone, because you never know in this league. So we'll do the same with him, and we'll see.
A big ask of guys like him themselves, though, without any practices like this week to come in, they may be up on something, right? Or has that been determined yet?
Yeah, that hasn't been determined yet, but I know those two guys well. I've had Darren in Arizona, so I got a good relationship with him. I got a good relationship with BP. So we'll see. We'll see. Whatever needs to be done, we'll just have to do it.
I assume you had a quick fix to the penalty issue last year after the Chicago game. You got a great the rest of the way out. It's been a problem this year. What do you guys do to make that such a quick fix a year ago?
Well, I'll let BA talk about the team penalties. I try to just look at the ones on the outside of the ball, really the pre-snap ones. obviously you play the game of football, there's going to be post-snap penalties, right? That's part of it. Sometimes the penalty is legit. Sometimes it's not, but you can't control it, right? A penalty is a penalty. So what we try to control are the ones pre-snap. Because like I tell you guys, that takes nothing. That just takes concentration and all of us being on the same page. So you really try to eliminate the pre-snaps and coach the post-snap penalties. That's how we really approach it.
A little bit of a different situation last year when you guys went into the bye week, right? It was so late in the year. This year, you guys certainly need it from an injury standpoint, but what can you guys do? Because remember last year, you didn't lose a game after the bye. What can you do to kind of replicate some of that magic this go around?
Well, the good thing is what we did, the expectations is high for everybody, right, including you guys, right? Like you said, you won 17-0. Yeah, and that's the expectations of everybody outside this building. This building is just trying to get better and win football games in the process with the awareness. I mean, we're really in it. So we're not watching TV all day. We're not playing fantasy football. We're playing real football. So we don't view it that way. We view it as trying to get better, trying to become a better football team, win football games, and be playing at our best when the time is ready for us to be playing at our best.
But even aside from win-loss, the style of play that you guys kind of had coming out of the bye last year, it seemed like you were a more comfortable football team. It seemed like things were clicking for Tom. Scotty was getting involved. Remember that big play against Minnesota? Things just seemed to be clicking and just happening. So even just regardless of the win-loss record, I know your goal was to go last year into the bye and to come out, refreshed and rejuvenated and better. So I mean, like, what kinds of things are necessary for you guys to be able to kind of, I guess, replicate that performance? Just
repetitions, what we're doing now. What you saw last year is just us learning how to play with each other. And we're still doing that right now. We're still learning how to play with each other. It wasn't nothing special or unique. The switch has always been on with this group. You don't have to ask this group to go. This group is going to go. So now we got to structure how we're doing it. Let's make sure we're doing the right things when we're going to have success. So that's what you saw most at the end of last year. It wasn't like we started doing all this different stuff we were doing the same stuff. We just started doing it better because we had a better understanding of who we were. We had a better Tom got a better understanding of his teammates. His teammates got a better understanding of him. And that's what happened really to us last year. Not that it was we went to a different switch. We just played better. We just operated better. We played better because of the repetitions let us get to that point.
A year ago, just seeing, first of all, right now, Washington gives up a ton of passing yards. So a year ago, you guys kind of got back and forth with the ball. You're still got players, right? Chase Young.
Oh, yeah.
What do you see with the defense?
You see the same thing you saw last year. They got players everywhere, right? They got players everywhere. And the record means nothing. We've been on the field with this group of men on the opposite side, and we understand the players that they have on all levels of their defense. So we know what we're up against. We know this is a good group, a bunch of high draft picks, right? You look over there, that's all you see is draft picks, guys that's been in a lot of different situations just with the game of football and when they was in college. So these are big-time guys who know how to play the game of football. So we understand who we're up against. We had an opportunity to play against them last year, so we know what we got going against us on Sunday.
How much of a victory was that for you guys last year? Not win-loss, but for this group, especially like that offensive line, like going up against this group and protecting Tom the way he did during that wild card game. Just how much of a victory was it for you guys to perform the way you did against that group in Washington? Up front, in the trenches.
Yeah, I just think I don't look at it like I look at it as everyone. It was the first time for everyone, but really Tom, Grunt, right? These guys, Mike has never been in the playoff game. Chris, a lot of guys have never been in playoff games when we were going into that game, and it was different because it was no one in the stands. So it was as different as playoff game we've ever been a part of. So obviously, this group is a little different now because they've been through those experiences, but it was different for us that first game because it was everyone. Your first playoff game is different, right? It's always different. It was a bunch of guys' first playoff game. Do I think we played our best? No, but I think we did what we need to do to get out of there with a win.
I want to talk about Tom being the MVP so far halfway through the season. I think they have the outside favorite.
They switch that thing up every week, don't they? Every time I look on SportsCenter, it's somebody different.
Does he impress you every week that you kind of see him just kind of evolving and raising his game to another level?
Yeah, I think he's just playing at a high level that he's been playing at really since he's got here. You know, like you say, halfway through last season, he's just been playing at a high level and being himself. I don't see it as nothing unique no more. I don't see it as unique. I see it as Tom being Tom. He's who he is because he's who he is, you know. So we don't the MVP thing and all that. We don't really think of that. You know, we see it on TV every day. We got a million TVs in this building, so you always see them saying something. But man, I expect Tom to be Tom every time he really go out there and play the game of football. He has them expectations for himself. I expect Mike to be Mike, Chris to be Chris, Ryan to be Ryan. I expect our guys to be who they are when they step on the grass.
Is he playing his best ball now?
I don't know. That's for you guys to determine.
Well, Sean McCoy likened it to playing with Jesus when he played with Tom.
Yeah, I seen Shady on TV the other day. That's good. It's good to see Shady on TV.
Very unique comparison, right?
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Byron, you talked about 24 hours, it's out of your mind, like you were on to Washington, spending the amount of time that you spent with Tom. In 24 hours, is it out of his mind, or does that stuff, I mean, losses sit with him? Does he operate differently than you?
No, it goes. It goes. He understands. You know, he understands. You get frustrated because you know, you always wish when you don't win, you wish you could have done something a little different here and there, right? Every time you lose, but we're both big boys. We understand it. He's a big boy. He understands it. You got to move on to the next week, and he has no problem doing that.
Anything else?
All right, guys. Thank you.